Hello everyone and welcome. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use color in a professional manner to come up with professional looking websites. So this is the final design that we're aiming to design in today's tutorial. So as you can see, I've really used these colors so you can see how they're being used on this page. So this is the final outcome that we'll be designing in today's tutorial. So step by step, I'm going to show you how I put this together and also how to use the colors. So before we get started, today's tutorial is made possible by divicake.com. Check out their huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. Link is in the description below. So right now, as we look at this, we can see that the colors that we're using here really work well together because these come from a tool called colorwheel.com, and here we have what are known as color rules or color harmonies. So you can see here as I select these different color harmonies, we are getting a list of colors that work well together. So that's how I came up with my color palette to end up with these colors. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to redesign all this from scratch. So let's start off by enabling our Visual Builder. So I'm going to click on Enable Visual Builder, and then we are going to clear this layout. So I'm just going to go to Edit Page and then clear the layout. Excellent. So we're starting from scratch on a blank slate. So where everything really starts is with the header. So we're going to go to the header area and work on that. But before we start working on the header area, I also like to mention that once you've chosen your colors, so if you come over here to Color Wheel, and you can see here on the bottom we have this hex value. That's the hexadecimal value of the color. You can actually copy this and add all this into your website. So over here on Divi Theme Options, you can actually enter your color palette here by just clicking on here and pasting your value of your color like that. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and did all this. So I've added all my colors that I'm going to be using in this tutorial. So now I'm going to go to my theme customizer because we're going to start off by working from the top bottom. So we're going to start off here with this primary header area. So over here, I'm going to click on header and navigation, primary menu bar. So here is where I added all my colors. So I started off with the background color. So I added my background color there. And then for my text color, this is what I chose. And then for my link color, this is the color that we're going to use. So pretty much that's all we need to do. And this is the final result we get here from on the top. Okay, so I'm going to close this and then we're going to go to our page and start designing. So I'm going to go to all pages. So the page we're going to design is called New Home. So I'm going to click on Edit. Right, so we're back here to where we started. It's a blank slate. So let's start by designing our website and going into our Visual Builder. So I'm going to click on Use Visual Builder. Okay, so we're going to start off by adding our background image. So I'm going to click this gear icon, click on background, and then I'm going to come over here to the third tab, click the plus button. Now all the images I'm going to use are already in my media library. So in your case, if you're designing your website from scratch, you may want to download your images first from these websites that provide royalty-free images, or even paid ones if you've paid for yours. So I'm going to click here to add my image. Click on Upload an Image. And then I'm going to come over here to the first tab and add my color. So the color I'm going to add here is this one right here. That. And then for this effect to take place, I need to come over here to Image Blend and choose Multiply. So now we can see that we've added, some color to our image. So all we have to do now is to come over here to the first tab and we can lower the intensity of this style that we have on our image. Okay, like that. So right now we can't see much of our image. So let's make some adjustments first before we add our modules. So I'm going to come over here to my image, and then on my background image position, I'm going to click on top center, right? Because we want to see the top of this image first and then center everything else. Otherwise, our image is going to have these faces chopped off. Okay, so now I'm happy with that. I'm going to come over here to design and add some padding. So I'm going to click on spacing, and we're going to add 10% to the top and 10% to the bottom. Excellent. So I'm going to save. And then I'm going to come over here and add my call to action module. So all we need here is just a single column. I'm going to search for my call to action. Right, so I'm going to start off with the title. So I'm going to use Lorem 2 just to copy and paste my text that I'm going to use throughout this tutorial. So back over here, I'm going to paste my title like that. So our button text, I'm just going to call this Learn More. And then to make sure the button shows, I need to come over here to the button URL and add a blank link. So now we can see it's showing. And then what we also want to do here is back over here on the text, we need to add some text to the content area and paste it in the content area like that. Great. So straight away, we can go ahead and remove the background color. So I'm going to click on background, use background color, no. And then I'm going to come into my design tab. So we want to make sure that this is sized correctly. So I'm going to come over here to sizing. Then I'm going to reduce that until I get to about, let's say, about 70%. Then I'm going to center it. Now it's time to go in and customize our text. So I'm going to start off with my title text here. So I'm going to increase the size to about 40. And then for my text color, this is where now I can start applying my text color from my color palette. So what you can do is you can pretty much just take a look at these colors as you're adding them onto your canvas here and see what works. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to come over here to my body text, make sure that my size is increased. I need this to be about 22. And then I'm also going to change my color. So I'm going to come over here, change my color to that. And then I'm going to increase my line height. I think I'm happy with 1.7. Now it's time to work on the button. So for the button, I need to come over here and enable custom styles for button. Okay, so I can increase my button's text size. And then over here, my text color, I'm going to choose this lighter one, this lighter version. And then I'm going to add my background color. So over here, because we have a dark background color, it's ideal that we don't use this color right here because obviously we can't really see it. So I'm going to choose a color which works with this. So I think maybe I could go with this actually. Yeah, I think this works fine. Okay, I'm going to remove my border width. I don't need that. And then over here on my font style, I'm going to make it all caps and maybe even reduce the size a little bit. That's a bit too big. So I'm going to reduce it to 20, maybe even 22. Right. So over here on the button letter spacing, I'm just going to add some spacing. 2 is fine. So that looks perfect. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and save. Right, so you can see here that just by adding our colors, this design is starting to really take shape. Okay, so I may want to increase my padding here. So in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my row settings and just add some margin. So I'm going to click on design, spacing. So margin top, I'm going to start off with 5%, see how that looks. Okay, that's not too bad actually. Do the same to the bottom. So now we can see more of this image, which is great. So if you want to test different mobile views, you want to come over here to the bottom and then click the view. So we can see here everything is in place and I'm really happy with that. It's great. So if you're not happy with the sizes, you can always go in and make those specific adjustments. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and focus on using color in our designs. Before I forget, if you want to learn how to design websites using Divi, I have a course. All the information about the course is in the description box below. Basically, Divi Blueprint 3 is a course which teaches you everything that you need to know about Divi. So this course is for beginners and it'll get you up and running. But we also cover design techniques similar to what we're doing today, where we're using color to come up with great looking designs. So if you want to learn how to use Divi, the course is in the show notes below. And also, if you haven't bought Divi, if you buy Divi using my affiliate link, I will give you access to the course absolutely free. All right, so let's continue. So I'm done with this section. I'm going to click on save. Right, so let's add another section. So I'm going to click this plus button here to add our regular section. So my first column here is going to have a text module because I'm just going to have a title for this section. So I'm going to call the title Our Services like that. And then I'm going to come over here and make sure the text is centered. And then I'm just going to adjust my sizes. So my size here, I'm just going to make it about 28. And then my font, I'm going to change this to Lato, but this is going to be Lato Light. Okay, in fact, that's a bit too thin. Let me leave it at regular. Next, I'm going to come over here to letter spacing, and then I'm just going to set it to about 4, increase the size a bit, maybe to about 36. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. The next thing we're going to do is to add our background color. So I'm going to click this gear icon, click on background, click this plus button to add our background color, and then I'm just going to add it like that. So again, as before, what you can always do here is just to take a look at which colors you think work well with these sections. So in fact, I've changed my mind, so I've gone on and chosen this one. Okay, so great. I'm going to go ahead now and save. So next, I'm going to go into my text module again one more time and change the color of that text. So I'm going to come over here to text color, and then I'm going to choose this lighter version and then save. Next, we want to add a divider to this. So I'm going to click this plus button, select divider, yes, to show it. I'm going to come over here to design, and then first of all, I'm going to come to sizing. I'm going to increase the weight to about 6, reduce the height to about 8, and then I'm going to design my width and just make sure that it's about 9% and center it. And again, because we're using color, we're going to come over here and change the color of this line. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on color. Then I'm going to change that color to, in fact, we could even use that if we wanted to. Let's see what other options we have. Okay, I think we'll go ahead with this. I'm going to save. Now it's time to add a new row. So I'm going to click this plus button, add 3 columns, and we are going to have a blurb for this. I'm going to select blurb. So first of all, we're going to start off with the title. Paste my text. Next, I'm going to copy some paragraph text and paste it over here. Great. So I'm pretty happy with that. And then next, we're going to come over here to our image and icon and click on yes. And then I'm going to add my first icon. I'm just going to use random icons here. It doesn't matter which one you choose. But of course, in your projects, you have to choose the icon that works with your designs. So I'm going to start off here with this credit card. And then I'm going to come over here to background. We're going to add our background color straight away. So we're going to use this as our background color. Now it's time to go into the design tab. So let's start off with the icon. So the icon color, we can use this for our icon color. And then we're going to come over here to the circle and choose the circle color. So here I'm going to start off with trying different versions here and see which one works. So I think that works really well. Okay, great. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to come over here and choose use icon font size, and then I'm going to reduce the size to about, let's try 36. Okay, so I think this is the right size. Now let's go on to the title text and start making our adjustments. So I'm going to start off here with my color. Add my color in here, make sure it's centered. So my size, I'm just going to reduce this a little bit, set it to about 18, but we're going to make it bold. Right, that's much better. Great, so let's move on. So we're going to go to the body text. So same thing, we're going to come over here to the body text color, select our color, and we're going to adjust our size. Okay, so 17 is fine. We're going to make sure it's centered. And then let's come over here to our spacing and add some spacing. Right, so we're going to add some padding. We're going to try 20. In fact, let's use percentages. I'm going to use 5% all around. Okay, in fact, that's not making a massive difference. Let's try 10%. Yeah, I think I'll go with 10%. Okay, so next, let's come over here to the border. So what we can do is we can add some rounded corners. So I'm just going to add 6, just to give it a bit of style on the corners there. Okay, I think that's looking great. I'm pretty much happy with that. So I'm going to save. And then to save us time, I'm just going to clone this a few times, drag it into position. And then we're just going to go in and change these icons. Right, so as I mentioned, I'm just choosing random icons here. But of course, in your designs, you can use proper icons that work with what you're designing. Okay, and my final icon is this one right here. Okay, let's go ahead and save. So you can see now that our page is taking shape. Now I'm looking here and I think the color that we've used here doesn't really work well. Let's go back in and fix this. So I'm going to go back over here click on design, text, and then I'm going to change my color to this dark one here. Okay, so this one here now pretty much works with what we have on this page. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Go ahead now and save. So all I have to do now is to add a bit more padding to the top. So 150 will do, and 150 to the bottom. Okay, now it's time to add the next section. Okay, so our next section here, we're going to click this plus button, click on a regular single column, and then here we're going to add a video. So I'm going to select my module like that. So my video, it's just a video from my YouTube channel. And then every time you use the video module, you want to make sure that you come over here to overlay and upload an image. So the image I'm going to use is this one right here, and click upload. So the reason why you want to use an image is because it makes it easier for you to brand or add your colors for your brand as we're doing in this tutorial. So I'm going to come over here to design, play icon, and then we're going to change our color. So I can always add my color in here like that. So I'm pretty much happy with that. I'm going to go with that. And then over here on the sizing, this is where you can choose what size you want for this video. So I'm going to bring it down to about 76% and then center it. Okay, so pretty much that's looking great. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Let's go to our section background. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on background, and then this time we're going to choose this dark color right here, like that. So you can see now that when we take a look at our page, all our colors are working well together, and this is exactly what we need to achieve. Okay, so let me go ahead now and save. Next, we need to add our title to this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the top and then just clone this row. So I'm going to clone it like that and then just drag it down here into position. Okay, so right now we can't see anything because the color here matches the color of the background. So let's go in and fix that. So I'm going to come over here, click on design, text, then I'm going to change my color. So again, I'm just going to play around with these colors and see which one works. So I think that one is fine. And then I'm going to save, and then we want to go into our divider and do the same. Change our color, just like that. Save. Great. So it's time now to add our social media icons. So let's go ahead and add a new row like that. We're going to add a single column, and then I'm just going to search for my social media follow like that. Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by clicking this plus button here, come over here to the icon. So over here, it's fine. We can leave this in the new tab. Okay, so let's start by adding our social media icon. So I'm going to click this gear icon, click on network, select network. I'm going to start off with my Facebook. And then over here is where you can add your Facebook link, but I'm just going to add a blank link for now. I'm going to go back, add another one. So this time it's going to be Twitter. Go back, add another one. So this one could be LinkedIn. I'm going to go back, add one more, select my network. Let's use something like Instagram. Okay, brilliant. So now that we have all the social media icons, that's looking great. I'm going to go in now and specifically add colors to these. So I'm going to come over here, choose the first one, click on background, and then this is where now I'm going to add my colors. Okay, so I'm going to do this to each and every one of these. Great, so all my colors now match. So now it's time to go into the design tab, click on alignment, and then I'm going to make sure that these are all centered. So you can see here that all these social media icons now have the same sort of design and color, which is what is going with our theme right here. So I'm really excited about this because it just shows that we have consistency in our design. Okay, so now that we have all this, it's great. We don't need to do much over here. I'm going to go ahead and save. It's time now to move on to our next section. So I'm going to click this plus button over here. Click on a regular. All we're going to need here is a single column. So I'm going to select that. And we are going to need a number counter. So I'm going to go down here and select it. Right. So on the title here, I'm going to say products to choose from. But of course, this can be anything. And then I'm also going to add a number. So I'm just going to add some random numbers in there like that. Right. So now that I have this in place, I'm just going to save this for now. And let's add our background elements. So I'm going to start off here with our background image. So I'm going to click on background, click on this third tab, click the plus button to add our image. And my image is already in my media library. So I'm going to select that, click upload an image. Again, I'm going to come over here to the position and I'm going to select top center. Great. So now I'm going to go back over here to this first tab and add our background color. So this is where I can choose the color that I want to use for the background. Okay, so right now it looks like no effect has taken place. So we need to come back over here to our image tab, click on the blend mode and choose multiply. So now as soon as I've added multiply, you can see that this image now has taken on the color. So I'm going to come back over here to my background image and then my background color and then choose the colors. So I'm going to select this one here. In fact, I'm not sure which one I'm going to use between these two, but let's go ahead and use this one right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lower the opacity right here like that. So you can adjust this and see what works for your design. Okay, so you can go really down, but the point of this is in line with our design. So I'm going to go ahead now. In fact, before I save, I need to add some padding to this. So I'm going to come over here to design, spacing. So padding top, say 10%, and then I'm going to do the same to the bottom. Great. So we've added some padding to that. I'm going to save. And now let's go into our module settings. Right, so first of all, I'm going to add some padding to the top, margin to the top. So I'm going to start off with 10%, and then I'm going to paste that on the bottom as well. So now we get to see our image, which is great. Now let's adjust our colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the number text, and then I'm going to choose my color. So I could go with this color here for my number text. Great. We're also going to choose the color and the size for this, for the text here, the description text. So I am going to come over here to text. In fact, it's title text. I'm going to come over here to the color. So as you can see, these four colors here are pretty much close to this background image. So I'm just going to use this dark one right here. But I am going to change the sizes. So I'm going to increase my size like that to about, say, 36. And then I'm going to make it bold. That. So now it really stands out. And then next, I'm going to come over here and change that percentage sign. So I'm going to click on elements and remove the percent. So now we have this image, which pretty much works with the design of our branding. Fantastic. Now it's time to add one more section. So I'm going to save this for now. And then I'm going to come to the bottom here, click this plus button, regular section. We're going to have 2 equal halves. And then on the left side here, we're going to have an image module. So I'm going to select image. And then I'm going to add my image. So this is the image you're going to use. I'm going to click upload an image. And then for now, I'm going to save. And then I'm going to come over here to the right. So over here, we're going to need a text module. So I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to just copy my text like that from Lorem 2. Paste my text in here. And we're going to need a heading. So I'm just going to make some space here for my heading. Right, so I'm going to highlight my text and then give this a heading 1 like that. And then now it's time to stylize this. But before we do that, I'd like to come in and make some adjustments to my row. So I'm going to save this for now. Come over here into my row settings. Click on design, sizing. We're going to make this a full width. Okay, and then we're going to come over here to use gutter width and set this to 1. Now by setting it to 1, we are making sure that in these 2 columns, there's no spaces between them. So that's why we're setting our gutter width that way. Excellent. So we might as well click on equalize column height. So next we want to make sure that we don't have any spacing on the top and the bottom of this row. So let's go ahead and do that. So custom padding, top, I'm going to add 0 and 0 to the bottom. We're going to save this for now. We're going to come over here to our section settings and remove this white space. So we're going to come over here to design, spacing, margin top, padding top, 0. So you can see as soon as I've done that, this space has gone. So we're going to do the same to the bottom like that. That looks perfect. Let's go ahead and save. Now it's time to go into our row settings. Click on background, but this time we want to target background 2. So I'm going to click this plus button here, and we are going to add a color to background 2. So I'm going to go with this color right here, and notice that it's really blending very well with what we have on the top here, which is great. Fantastic. Right, so now that we have our color, we can see that the text inside here does not look right. So let's go ahead and fix that. So I'm going to save this, come over here to my text module, and then I'm going to click on design, sizing. I'm going to reduce my width to about, let's say, 74%, and I'm going to center it. Right, next, I'm going to come over here to my text, and I am going to change the colors. So my text color, I'm going to choose this for my color, and then we're also going to adjust our heading text. So it's on H1, which is perfect. I'm going to choose my color like that. Great. So now all we have to do is to add our padding to the top, just to make sure that everything is all centered. So I'm going to come over here to spacing. So padding top, let me try 20%. So that looks perfect. Really happy with that. So I'm going to save. Okay, so over here on the right, what we could also do is to add a button as a call to action. So I'm just going to paste some text in the button. Okay, and I'm going to come over here to the link, and then I'm going to add my link URL, and then I'm going to come over here to design button, use custom styles for button, and then we're going to add our text color like that, and then we're going to add our background color. Right, so I think we're going to go with this color for the button, and then so I'm just going to go back over here and just change my text color. Right, so I think that works. Okay, so all I have to do now is to come over here to my button width, remove that, and then I just need to center my button. So I'm going to scroll down, spacing, and then for my margin left. Okay, so I'm just going to add, so that looks perfect. And then on the top, I'm going to try 3%. So that looks better. So now it's all aligned. Now I can save. So you can see here that if we take a look at our page, it really looks professional because I've used all my colors from my color palette to pretty much design this. The only thing that's remaining here is this logo area, but you'd need to design this logo in a software like Photoshop in order for you to have it match your branding. So there are several things that you can actually do here. Like for example, we can go in and add a divider. So I'm going to come over here, click on design, dividers, and then I'm going to just add my divider like that. So you can see just by doing that, I've added a quick style to my section. Okay, but if you want to add something a bit more fancy, you can always come in and choose this one, for example. And again, it really looks nice. In fact, I think I'll leave this as it is. Great. But if you want to go in and make your changes here and change the color, you can always, go in and do that. But these dividers have taken on the color of what we have here. In fact, let me just choose a solid color like that. This makes things even easier. Okay. So pretty much this is our design. I'm going to go ahead now and save. So today's tutorial has been made possible by divicake.com. Check out their huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link to that is in the description below. And also, if you want to learn how to design professional looking websites using Divi, I have a course and all the information to that is in the show notes below. Go ahead, check out the course, and within a very short space of time, you're going to be very good at designing websites using Divi, because I pretty much cover everything that you need to know in order for you to design professional looking websites using Divi. Right, so now that I have this page all set, I'm going to save this. We're going to exit the Visual Builder, and then we can just one more time have a look at this page. Beautiful. I'm really pleased with this design, and I would like to hear what you think about the use of color in web design. What are your views, and is this your process of designing websites with a color palette in mind, or do you just design your websites as you go? I'd like to know. So thank you very much for watching, and be sure to subscribe. By subscribing and clicking the bell notification, you'll be notified every time I go online live or when I post new videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon.